Over 4,000 years ago, in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, long before the Bible, the Iliad, or the Tao Te Ching, there was a story. Not the first text ever written, but perhaps the first great literary epic.
First hero's journey we know.
A soul in crisis, etched into clay in the world's first written language, Sumerian cuneiform.
12 tablets discovered in the ruins of Nineveh in the mid-19th century, when British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard uncovered the ruins of Ashurbanipal's library in Nineveh. Inside were thousands of clay tablets, including the most complete version of the Epic of Gilgamesh. Did the Epic of Gilgamesh change the world? The answer is yes, it did.
The Epic of Gilgamesh is more than mythology. It may be the first true story, a tale that asked the same questions we still ask today. What is the meaning of life? Why do we suffer? Can we escape death? Gilgamesh was king of Uruk, a magnificent city of towering walls and sacred temples.
According to legend, he constructed the city's massive walls, some of the oldest known fortifications, and expanded the Yana temple complex, dedicated to the goddess Inanna, as well known as Ishtar.
He was 2/3 divine, 1/3 mortal, powerful, radiant, and insufferably proud. He ruled without mercy.
He believed greatness came from domination, that power proved worth. He worked his people to exhaustion and claimed the brides of men before their wedding nights. He leaves no son to his father, no daughter to her mother.
The ego had taken the throne, and the gods, watching from above, decided to humble him.
The god Enlil, god of air and order, calls on the goddess Aruru, goddess of creation, to create a wild man to challenge Gilgamesh.
They created Enkidu, raised among beasts, untouched by civilization.
A hunter spotted Enkidu and told his father. The father advised him to seek help from Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh sent a temple priestess, Shamhat, a servant of Inanna. Her role wasn't to kill the wild man, it was to awaken him.
Enkidu was drawn into the human world through sacred intimacy. For 6 days and 7 nights they lay together. Then Enkidu knew that he was naked, and his understanding widened.
The animals rejected him. He was no longer one of them. With bread and beer, he became human. And when he heard of Gilgamesh's cruelty, he went to confront him.
And met Gilgamesh, not with reverence, but resistance. The two fought like titans, but in their battle, they saw each other. And something changed. They became brothers, reflections of one another. In Jungian terms, Enkidu was the shadow, the instinctual self that Gilgamesh had denied. And by embracing him, the hero began his path toward wholeness.
Together, they sought glory. So Gilgamesh proposed a quest.
Let us go to the Cedar forest, to slay Humbaba and make a name for ourselves.
The Cedar forest was sacred, home to towering cedar trees, protected by Humbaba, guardian of the gods. Killing him meant crossing divine boundaries. Still, they went. Shamash, the sun god, aided them with dreams and winds. At the forest's edge, Humbaba roared,
I will tear you apart and feed your flesh to the birds of the sky.
With divine help, they killed him. Their fame grew, and so did their arrogance. Inanna, Ishtar in Akkadian, descended from the heavens, drawn by Gilgamesh's growing fame after slaying Humbaba. She was impressed by his strength and glory, and desired to make him her consort. But Gilgamesh knew her reputation. Her love was a trap. Every man who accepted it had fallen. So he mocked her.
You are a broken door that lets in the cold. A shoe that bites the foot of its owner.
Humiliated, she went to her father, Anu, god of the sky and king of the heavens, and threatened,
If you do not give me the bull of heaven, I will break the gates of the underworld, and the dead will outnumber the living!
She unleashed the bull. Gilgamesh and Enkidu killed it. They had now defied a goddess, destroyed a divine guardian, and slain a beast of heaven.
The gods responded, not with thunder or fire, but with silence and death. Enkidu fell ill. He suffered, and then he died. Gilgamesh was shattered. He had faced monsters and gods, but now he faced something far more terrifying, death itself. For the first time, he saw his own end, and it consumed him. He wandered the earth. Across wastelands and oceans he sought Utnapishtim, the only mortal granted eternal life, a survivor of a flood older than Noah. He passed through darkness, past scorpion men and lands of the dead, to beg for the secret of immortality.
Finally, Gilgamesh found Utnapishtim that told him the truth of immortality.
There is no permanence. The gods kept immortality for themselves.
Yet Utnapishtim offered Gilgamesh a test. Stay awake for 7 days. Gilgamesh failed. He slept, and the secret slipped away. Still, before he left, Utnapishtim revealed a sacred plant, a plant that could restore youth. Gilgamesh found it, but as he bathed, a serpent stole it. So he returned home, empty-handed, but transformed. He looked upon Uruk, not as a god-king, but as a man who had faced the void and chosen to live. He had lost immortality, but gained something greater, wisdom, the kind of wisdom that comes when the ego cracks and the soul steps forward. The Epic of Gilgamesh did change the world by asking the questions that define us. What is a good life? Why do we suffer? What happens when we die? It was the first recorded story, written over 4,000 years ago. It gave us the first flawed hero, the first mythic journey, and the first search for meaning. It introduced timeless themes: friendship, grief, mortality, and the fear of death. It preserved the beliefs of one of the world's first civilizations, and it shaped the myths, religions, and stories that followed. From the Bible's flood to Campbell's hero's journey, Gilgamesh left its mark. It didn't just survive history, it shaped it. The Epic of Gilgamesh is not just the first story. It is the first mirror of mankind. And one question that still echoes: if we must die, what is the meaning of our lives? If that question stirred something in you, you're in the right place. Subscribe. This is where the oldest stories meet the future of storytelling.